Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us at this special time on Wednesday. My name is Elisa Slazinska, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, BACP. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop Webinar Series. We adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. On behalf of our Commissioner, Rosa Escarino, I want to inform you that business licenses can be processed online where applicable by visiting chicagobusinessdirect.org. And just note that any websites or emails that I mentioned will be posted in the chat box, so you'll be able to reference them there. And if you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn about the program, please visit chicago.gov/businesseducation. To help guide your business and employees during Chicago's reopening process, please visit chicago.gov/reopening. Also, BACP and the City of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications created Shy Biz Emergency Alerts. You can opt in to receive targeted emergency alerts for the business community. If you are interested, please visit chicago.gov/ShyBizAlerts. And we encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box and send your questions to all panelists. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. And once again, everything I mentioned will be posted in the chat box, so you'll be able to reference it there. And today's webinar will be Basic Steps to Make Your Business an E-Business. It is presented by the Chicago Asian Network. And with us today is Laki Siap and Edgar. Welcome both.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for having us, Elisa. My name is Laki Siap, and with me is Edgar De Leon from Panalo Solutions. And we're really grateful to be here, and we thank you all for taking the time to, out of your busy schedules, to get to know more about making that switch from an existing business to an e-business. Next slide, please. Next slide. So before we begin, a little bit of background behind Chicago Asian Network. We're a community resource platform serving the Asian American community, while its partner, Panalo Solutions, which Edgar is from, is an international web design and mobile development company. They've worked with startups from small and medium-sized businesses, and they specialize in web development, web design, content management, and digital marketing solutions. We, again, really appreciate this opportunity to partner with BACP, and I'm going to hand it over now to Edgar from Panalo to get into the presentation about making the switch from your business to an e-business. Welcome, Edgar.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Laki. Good morning, everyone from the San Francisco Bay Area. I hope everyone's doing well before this Thanksgiving holiday. So I want to start. Panalo, our founder is J.R. Tolonak. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here this morning with us, so he's asked me to handle the presentation with all of you today, this morning rather. J.R. has been very involved here in San Francisco and throughout the country with educating business owners on how to make transitions from your brick and mortar or your traditional business to a business that utilizes online presence. My name, again, is Edgar. I'm the business development manager. And just a little bit about myself. I've been working with JR now for about 2 years, and it's been really great to help businesses to make that transition from a traditional to an online presence business. Here's a listing of some of our clients throughout the country. We've done a lot of work with all types of businesses, from traditional nonprofits, governmental agencies. One of our claim to fame is that we've done the Department of Tourism, Philippines and San Francisco. We built their website, and it's increased their presence as far as tourism, with Americans seeking to go to the Philippines. Okay, our agenda. We'll talk about why make the shift to the digital transformation. How do I do that? How do I adapt to the new e-commerce environment? And then also, how do you find the right designer? And then some tips to help you make this process smooth for you. And of course, we have Q&A at the end of the session. Obviously, the agenda is based on the new normal because of the COVID debacle that we're all experiencing today. It's really imperative that all of us make that transition for our businesses. Okay. Why must my business adapt or digitally transform? Here are some reasons or examples of why people are doing what they're doing in light of the COVID debacle. Examples. So one thing that we're seeing, for example, if you own a restaurant, restaurants today are also now selling groceries in addition to what they offer as for on their menus. I've seen a lot of restaurants, for example, sell ingredients for their so people can go home and cook their own food using the menu or the recipes that the restaurants have. And this has grown tremendously, again, in light of COVID. Next example, Model United Nations. This was a program that initially was designed for in-person seminars and so forth. The nice thing about this is that with the transition to online learning, let me just switch. This program became more affordable to a lot of kids in that the program prior to COVID, it was about $2,000, and now switching to an online platform, the organization, the nonprofit, reduced their cost to $300, but at the same time, it increased our profit margins because more it was accessible by more kids to participate with this program. So this is a truly success story that, again, resulting from transforming a business to e-commerce. Another great example, G Bakery in California. This was basically a brick and mortar bake shop, and what we did was build a new website and then also a web app, or excuse me, a mobile app where their goods were able to increase their sales by 60% online, whereas before they had no online sales. Again, another great example of how e-commerce can help you in your business. Okay, I'll let you read through this for a second. Forbes companies move workouts online. Some of you are aware that gyms are now doing their programs online to, again, make up for the lost revenue for being unable to go to the gym. Okay, e-commerce, also known as electronic commerce or internet commerce. It's about buying and selling goods or services using the internet and the transfer of money and information to execute these transactions. The greatest example, as most of us know, is Amazon. They have a tremendous platform that's doing business in a way that no one's ever imagined. Okay, here's some cool statistics, everyone. By 2021, retail e-commerce sales will reach almost $5 trillion. That's from a Shopify statistic. Global B2B e-commerce is predicted to reach over close to $7 trillion by 2020. And according to the Harvard Business School, purchase decisions are made in the subconscious, which basically means when they're shopping online, they actually click and make purchases in a way that, again, no one ever dreamed of. Okay, types of e-commerce models. We have a listing here. The first one, business to consumer. So this is when a business sells goods or services to an individual customer. I think this would apply to many of you. The second one, business B2B. Again, this would apply to many of you. And then we have a few others here. Examples of more e-commerce scenarios: retail, wholesale. I think a lot of these examples would apply to your business. Here are more examples of e-commerce examples: subscription, physical goods, digital products. Again, a lot of services may apply to a majority of you that do business. Okay, DIY, do-it-yourself sites for e-commerce. Here's a listing of the popular platforms that businesses use to build their e-commerce platforms. Shopify, for example, is very popular. WordPress is used by about 35% of web designers building sites for their clients. Squarespace is another popular one. And then you have your Amazon and eBay stores. Okay, what's the difference? I'll go through this fairly quickly. Shopify is perhaps the easiest one to use and most simple to customize. It's a total e-commerce platform that's perfect for beginners and as well as experts. It's also a paid platform. I mentioned earlier about WordPress is a self-hosted platform that requires more technical knowledge, but allows for excellent customization if you hire a skilled designer. Again, almost 35% of all websites are built by using WordPress. Okay, again, some more examples. We have Wix. Wix is another great platform, as well as Squarespace and Magento. Okay, when you build an e-commerce website, there are logistical online tools that are available, and obviously you know most, if not all of these: the United Postal Service, UPS, Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, third-party logistics, and this is the beauty of e-commerce. Because of these logistic platforms, it makes your business work very, very smoothly and efficiently in sending goods to your customers. All right, successful e-commerce process. So here's a chart, a diagram, if you will, of what it looks like when you're building your e-commerce business. So basically, you have your login, register use, view and select the items that you're interested to purchase. You simply add the item to the cart, choose the shipment terms or options, whether it's overnight or standard delivery and so forth. You could choose your payment method, debit, credit, PayPal, and so forth. And then you process the order. The goods get delivered via the logistic platforms that we shared with you earlier. And then eventually the customer receives the item. So it's pretty straightforward. But again, this is the basic process of how all this comes together. Okay, back office. This is a great diagram. I share with you the front end, what's facing the customer. This is the back office. So customer places the order on a checkout. So you receive the order, you get the new order, you confirm it with the customer, generate the invoice for payment, and then you ship the item. Again, very simple, very straightforward. But again, this is the process that takes place on the back end. Okay, building an e-commerce site options. So I know there are a lot of you that like to do everything yourself, and that's cool. If you do it yourself, if you got the time and the technical knowledge, I would say you could probably build something for starters, something basic. A lot of people, once they figure out they can't build it, they decide that maybe it's time to use an agency or a web designer that has the expertise to build the site that they truly want and the site that will work most efficiently for them. And then the third item, I've had people talk to me, oh yeah, we'll go with you, but oh no, I spoke to my nephew, I spoke to my friend next door, they're going to come over and they're going to help me build it. And then 6 months later, they call me back and they say, I need help. So these are the three different ways people approach building a website. Again, to call your attention that if you want it done right, sometimes it is better to hire someone that has the technical background and the experience to build it. What do I need to do in digitally to adapt my business? So here's a little scenario. What it all comes down to, folks, is outsourcing. Finding the right web design company can be a lot like dating. So there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of companies that do great jobs at building websites. However, you're also making a decision based on limited information. That if you don't have all the facts in front of you, sometimes it takes a while to make hopefully a good decision. And then, of course, recent trends, there's a shift of quantity of engagement at lowest cost to qualify of engagement. Okay, 4 tips that I hope you'll take with you today in today's presentation. 4 tips. Number 1, understand why you want to hire an agency. So it shouldn't be just about non-essential tasks, but tie back to the efficiency or revenue. Basically, what you want to do is understand that there's an additional investment up front, but you have to look at what the ROI could potentially be. A lot of times, again, people say they can do it themselves because they want to save a little money. But at the end of the day, sometimes it makes more sense to put out the initial investment and budget for marketing and get the website that you want, and then experience the ROI, the increases in ROI for your business. Okay. Understand what you want to delegate or outsource certain processes. Okay. There's a 15-minute exercise that can help you determine this. Okay, understand what you want to outsource. So the first column is what I do, and this talks about things that you're basically good at. Obviously, you do what you do. You have expertise in the work that you do. But if you go to the next column, what I need that I'm not great at, maybe it's marketing, website updates, bookkeeping, things of that nature. So typically what you do is you hire or outsource a professional that can handle these particular items for your business. And then this allows you, of course, to do more of what? Maybe networking, more strategic planning, customer engagements, and so forth. Okay, and then the last column, what to delegate. Again, this goes back to the second column. It might be a good idea to outsource marketing, your marketing department for digital, online presence, and so forth. Okay, here's a checklist that you can use to hire an agency or a web designer. The reputation of the provider. You can look at perhaps Yelp or Google for that. Take a look at the scope of services provided. Do they just build websites, or do they provide marketing services such as search engine optimization, SEO, and digital marketing? How fast can they execute on your project? That's important. A lot of you are on timelines, and you want to be able to understand what kind of timelines that they offer you. Experience and skill level. I would, if I was seeking a service, I would like to see some samples of their work to get a better idea of how creative they are, or how skilled they are in putting together a website that would be best suited for you. Again, portfolio work history goes to experience. Is it a good fit? Is the agency a good fit for what you're doing and for your goals and culture? Like your business, not everyone might be a good fit. I find from my experience, sometimes I'll back away from a project because I know deep down we wouldn't be a proper fit for that particular business. And of course, communication, ease of working together, very imperative. You should be talking to your marketing digital agency, hopefully at least once a week, in putting together your website. Okay. So 4 items here again. Invest the time up front. Understand the process. Shadow the team. Give feedback. Communicate regularly. Does the provider show up on time? How frequently are you getting updates? Hopefully at least once a week. Communications, again, to make changes and so forth. The ability to share docs with your provider, very important. This allows them to build more effective and better websites for your business. And then key performance indicators. Make sure there's understanding that both sides have expectations of what to expect and how they will fulfill those. Okay, so basically, with these tips, we're hoping that you'll be able to find the right agency or a web designer for your business. That concludes my presentation, folks. Again, my name is Edgar DeLeon with Panalo Solutions in San Francisco. There's my email. You can jot down my phone number. I'll be happy to talk with any and all of you. I just won't talk to you tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so much, Edgar, for that overview. I mentioned it in the chat. If you do have any questions, please send them in the chat box. We're going to take a couple questions right now. While people are sending it in, Edgar, can you talk about maybe about like domain registration? What are your tips on that?
So domain registration, there's a few different ways. I can just share with you from experience. GoDaddy is an excellent option. If you Google domain registration, you can also find other examples. But if you want to have a conversation on that, we can always have a chat or send me an email, and I can send you to give you more information about that. Thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah. Someone's asking about the range of cost. I'm not quite sure if that means for your specific services or maybe an overhaul of a website. Can you talk about price points?
So that's a great question, Alyssa. So what I find across the board is that there's a wide range of pricing that's available to everyone. But what you want to do is when you get a price, do your homework, get to know who that agency is, have them send you examples, see the kind of work that they're doing, and then price ranges. I've seen prices for e-commerce range anywhere from $25,000 to $10,000, and you're probably thinking, "Wow, why is that?" Again, you have to look at the agency, how big they are, how experienced they are. I can give you a personal example that I'm the manager for Panalo. We're in the middle. We're not the highest priced. We're not the lowest priced, but we're priced based on what we provide our clients, in that we just do more than websites. We provide marketing and SEO services, whereas a lot of these other companies don't provide those services. We're known as a boutique agency. You can go to a large agency that's kind of like they have templates, and they just put you in build a template for you, and then there you go, you have it. We customize everything because we feel that it's more important for the customer to get the right look and feel for their website. And then you do got some agencies that are, for a better lack of another term, they lowball because they're trying to get your business. They say one thing or the other, and then you might be in a situation where you potentially could have made a mistake and now are seeking the help of another agency. The reason I share this with you is I've seen this all, and again, the main thing is understand who you're talking to, get examples of their work, and make sure you feel comfortable working with them. The communication is right, the culture is right, and I think hopefully with those tips, you should be able to make a good decision. But Alyssa, I hope I answered that question. It was a little long-winded.
Yeah, that's good. More information, the better. A couple questions are coming about business licensing. I do want to say this is not a business licensing webinar. However, a question came in about should we have a business license before creating our website? A little bit twofold. From the city and state standpoint, I would say yes, you need to have a business license as soon as you are preparing to sell services or products on a website. Edgar, do you have any recommendations about maybe like putting a hold on a website name or something along those lines?
So that's a great question, Alyssa. So to your point, Alyssa, yes, I would recommend that you take care of all that. Mm-hmm. What you can do, if you know that you'll be opening a business in, let's say, January or February, and you want to be legitimate, you can always start the website build prior to the launch of the business, because it does take anywhere to 4 to 6 weeks, plus or minus, to build the website. So if you want to time it accordingly, you can do that. But again, talk to the web designer or agency that you decide to use to kind of get a timeline, so you can time that exactly to the launching of your business and to make sure all the paperwork is in place. Okay.
I do want to say that City Hall is not open to the public. However, we are still processing business licenses, and I will put the website and the phone number. If you have any City of Chicago licensing questions for your business, our small business center consultants are still working remotely and are available to help guide you through the business licensing process. So just sit tight for that information in the chat. Another question came in. For non-WordPress, which do-it-yourself e-commerce sites would you say are most cost-effective if someone did everything themselves?
Okay, that's another great question. So my personal favorite, if it's not WordPress, because you do need some technical background with that platform, I find that Wix. Wix is a very good platform that you could build it yourself. And they also have a program, and some of these other platforms do have programs where if you're having a hard time building it, they have a program where they can connect you with one of their designers that have a history of helping other Wix builders that basically need some kind of technical help because they got stuck at a certain point in the build. But to the question, Alyssa, I like Wix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a request. Can you put back the slide up that had the Wix information, Magento, the descriptions? If you could just go back to that slide for a second. And I do want to say this webinar is being recorded, and technology allowing, we will post it on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ChicagoBACP. I will put that in the chat as well. And there's a slide for the person requesting the information.
Yeah. Oh, I want to add, Alyssa, besides Wix, Squarespace is another good option to look at. Shopify is a good platform also if you are developing an e-commerce website. And that's basically for the sale of goods, products or services.
Several questions coming in about taxes and selling across state lines via website. My recommendation would be at that point to hire a professional. But Edgar, can you talk about that?
Great question. I don't have a lot of experience on that level. I wish I could answer it for you, but you'll have to consult a professional. I know there are platforms that you could, they're called plugins, where you can, if you're selling out of state or out of county, the tax rates would automatically adjust for that particular area. So that's what I do know. As far as process and how it comes together, I don't have enough experience to answer that. But again, once it's being built with in our case, we have project managers. They can talk about the different plugins. So keep that in mind, folks. Plugins is the keyword that you want to talk about with your designer or agency. I hope that helps.
Yep. Question came in. It's great to have an e-commerce site, but just as important to get traffic there. Outside of email lists, what one or two areas would you say learn about or focus on to help drive traffic to the website?
Okay, excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
So building a website, everyone, that's the first step to your online marketing program or campaign. So basically, think of a website. If you just build the website, it's launched and it's live. What happens is that basically, what do you have? You have a real nice digital business card or brochure. A real nice digital business card brochure. So you got a brochure or business card. What do? Well, you pass them out. Well, how do you pass around your website? Well, you use that via marketing programs that you work with, hopefully with your agency or another third party that can help you market your website. So with that said, you can use tools like SEO, search engine optimization, and that's where basically you're found on Google. What you want to do eventually is hopefully you're doing enough SEO where your first page towards the top, and that's done over a process. Ways to getting first page and top of the page via SEO is, do you have a blog? Are you constantly putting information on your website to share information with your target audience? Are you doing newsletters? All this Google sees, and what happens, you start becoming what we call a thought leader, and that puts you more towards the top. Google changes the rules every 6 months. So it's imperative because, and then again, work with the agency that's familiar when these changes take place, that they can make the adjustments on your website to make sure it's top of mind when people Google you, your first page or top of page. I see a lot of people, or businesses rather, what they're going to do is they'll build the website, they'll leave it alone, and then they're still not found. Why? Because they're not top of page. Because what do people typically do? They look at the first or second pages, and then they'll choose a couple of those choices for further investigation to see if they want to work with. The other side is Google Ads. Making posts on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. These are other examples of how you can do marketing. But once again, I would defer you to the agency that you hired or web designer if they offer those services. Panalo, for example, is a full-service house, and we provide all of these services to help market your website.
It definitely sounds like a business needs an entire ecosystem to be online. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. A question came in. Can you go back to the slide? It's similar to the do-it-yourself sites, but it had the descriptions of the website.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
This one here?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And while we still tight on that website, a question came in, are there additional charges for secure sites, such as credit card charges, shipping taxes, and other tools that depend on your product or services?
Typically, there are additional charges outside of the build. Again, the company that you work with would be able to provide that information to you. But to answer the question directly, yes, there's additional charges that may come into play when building your e-commerce website.
Mm-hmm. And then can you go to the slide showing e-commerce market size and growth?
Oh, wait. Let me finish with this.
Yeah, sure. While we look at this slide, I do want to mention again that this webinar is being recorded and will be on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to rewatch this webinar. One of the joys of videos, you'll be able to pause and kind of gather that information a little bit more. And I'm going to put our link to our YouTube in the chat so you could reference it later. Let's see.
Yeah. I also want to mention there's a lot of great companies, I'm sure not only in Chicago, but throughout the country. And don't feel shy if you find a company that is not in Chicago, Illinois. You might find someone in New York. You might find someone in LA. And the reason I say that is because of the COVID crisis that we're experiencing. Panalo has actually crossed over to the East Coast because of technology like Zoom or Google Meets or even Cisco WebEx. What's happened is the community has gotten, there's more access, there's better access. So don't feel like you have to have someone locally. For example, Panalo has a presence on the East Coast as well as Southern California and Asia. And that's all because of technology that's available to all of us. So, and the reason I say this is that you want to find a company that you can work with that has the right fit, that basically fits with what you're doing. And again, you might want to interview 2 or 3 companies before you make that decision. And again, if you find out, they're in New York, well, that's okay. If it's the right look and feel, just make sure that the communication process is the way you want it, and they'll provide all the answers for you in a manner that you feel comfortable with.
And when you're talking about selecting an agency to assist with building out your website, can you maybe say a couple questions that would be helpful when you are choosing or interviewing agency? What would be some important things to ask?
I love that question. Thanks, Alyssa. So questions that you might want to ask is, how long have you been doing this? Can you send me some examples of your work so I can see exactly what you've done with other clients? Is it okay if I call one of your clients to get some personal feedback from another party? Mm-hmm. You might want to have them send you information about their process and how it works. Typically, a lot of the more reputable agencies will show you their workflow and how they build your website from start to finish. You want to look at the agreement to outline exactly what they will do. for you. We call that scope of work proposals, and then basically when talking to them, I mean, does it feel right? You know, I mean, I can't. Well, you can't really ask the question on that, but when you're having conversations with them, do you feel comfortable talking to that person, and do you feel you think that might be the right person? But those are a few questions you can ask, and again, if you reach out to me directly, I'll be happy to answer these in more specific details.
Great.
Okay.
And I think we know pretty much entrepreneurs trust your gut, right?
Absolutely, Alyssa. That's without saying. Yep.
And we have time for one last question. Any tips with using the Squarespace website platform?
Not in particular. It's a good platform. It's not as customizable as WordPress, but it's still manageable. We've worked with clients for their marketing that have Squarespace, and there are some limitations, but overall, it's a good place to start. If you want something that's truly customizable, I would always recommend WordPress, but Squarespace is template based, so they'll give you a selection of templates that you can use to start building your website. So my answer is yes. That would be a nice place to start if you want to, especially if you want to take a shot at doing it yourself. So. That's a good place.
And as we wrap up, can you go back to the final slide with your contact information?
Okay.
And while we sit tight on that slide, I just want to thank everyone for starting your Wednesday with us. Small Business Saturday is happening this Saturday, so we hope we provided a little bit of extra assistance to get your business online, set up your website. Edgar provided some great information on the different apps and different, plugins that he mentioned. So that concludes our webinar. Edgar, do you have any final words you would like to share?
Well, I want to apologize. I should have my website on there too. So it's www.panalo.co. So if you want to take a dive over the weekend or next week, that's panalo.co. Panalo. Oh, thank you. Right on.
Yep.
So
it's posted in the chat for everyone to reference.
Yeah. So I hope everyone, in closing, this was helpful for you to kind of start thinking a little more seriously about building a website. I think there was a quote from Bill Gates, and it goes like this: if you don't have an online digital presence, you don't have a business. Mm-hmm. Ouch. Yeah. So if you don't have an online digital presence, you really don't have a business. And because of this new normal, I find that this is generally true. Not to make it a big deal, we've been very busy with people seeking more information on how they can just get more in line with having a presence online.
Great, thank you. Definitely true during this pandemic that we've definitely seen a shift to the digital space. Digital shelves have become the primary shelf. So everyone, please keep that in mind. Please stay safe. Shop safe this holiday season. If you must go into the stores, please do so safely. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. We hope you have a good holiday season. Thank you again.
All right. Alyssa, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and if you have further questions, you know how to find me. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.